Hi guys, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to my segment. I'm gonna stick to the same topic. It's all about how you can get hired in 30 days. So get hired in 30 days. I brought Dean back on. So this is Dean, guys. If you
Everyone.
haven't seen him before, Dean is an IT recruiter as well as job search coach as well. Just like me, I'm an HR expert as well as career and slash job search coaching. So we're here. We're going to cover the same topic about how to get hired in 30 days. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about, if you live in Ontario, I'm pretty sure you got that alert on your phone. Stay home.
Yeah.
When I got that, I was like, oh, someone got like kidnapped or something, abducted or whatever. And then I saw, let's stay at home. It's the law. So I know maybe some people in Ontario might be freaking out about this, about how it impacts the job market. Um, I don't think it's going to impact the job market in any way or form or shape because we've been in this pandemic since March. Companies have transitioned to working from home, remote, and all that great stuff. Businesses are still allowed to be open, so don't worry about the job market. There's tons of companies that are still hiring. I've seen so many jobs happening. Are we even live? I didn't get a notification.
Yeah, I got the notification.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, we are live.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Okay, so guys, just to kick off, you can introduce yourself. Type your comments below. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. And it's the perfect time to meet people, network, use this opportunity to also meet other people as well. Now, going back to the job market I was talking about, this pandemic, we've been in it since March, guys. Even with all these lockdowns happening or not happening, and it's happening again, don't let this intimidate and create this fear that, oh my God, job market's on close or we're not going to have jobs. No, there's tons of companies are hiring, and it may not seem like that to you because you're also competing with a lot of people because of the pandemic, right? So what we call this is the employer market. But even in the employer market, that's why when the shift happens, you have to pivot your job search. Traditional job search methods are not going to work, okay? So you know what? I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Dean give some insights. He's been a recruiter in the IT field or just in recruitment space for 8+ years, right, Dean?
Yeah, 8+ years. Yeah.
So, do you want to walk everybody through first of all these shifts, like employer, employee, employer market, candidate market, and how these shifts impact candidates and when they're job searching?
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
put you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. No worries. No worries. So for those of you unfamiliar, right, and now I'm kind of generalizing things here, but in general, there are two types of markets, right? At least from a recruitment perspective. Number one is in a candidate-driven market, all right? So what a candidate-driven market is basically the kind of market we were in before this pandemic. So, during that period of time, a lot of you might have been experiencing getting multiple offers on the table. You got recruiters trying to reach out to you. You got employers trying to reach out to you, trying to get in touch with you to interview you. You got companies basically fighting over top talent, right? That's what's called a candidate-driven market. And to further simplify, what it means is it's when there are fewer candidates on the market than there are actual opportunities. Now, again, that is a generalization, but for the most part, that's what it is, right? So the power of choice more so shifts towards candidates. Candidates are in a position where they can choose and select whether they want to pursue opportunities or which opportunities they want to pursue. They don't want a job search right now. Hey, they can put it on hold, no problem. That's the kind of environment, right? Now, the environment we're in right now is an employer-driven market. By the way, you should be taking notes if you're taking notes as we're going through this session. So an employer-driven market is basically the flip, right? So it's a market where there's more available talent, right? More people, more candidates on the market looking for new opportunities, and fewer opportunities out there, right? So now the dynamic has kind of shifted because while there are companies hiring, there are industries that are looking to hire talent, bring on talent. There's just more available talent. Now, as a result of the pandemic, how this has happened is because of the mass layoffs that have occurred, right? Since the advent of last year, and which unfortunately are continuing to occur. And that's what has created this employer-driven market. Now, what remains the same in both of these markets is why organizations hire folks, right? Whether we're in a pandemic, whether we're in a recession, like Gurpreet said when she was opening up this segment, don't get distracted by the chaos, by this so-called chaos and the pandemic. Yeah, there's bad things happening. Yes, there are industries and companies being affected, but why companies hire, that reason always remain the same, and that is that they have projects, they've got problems, they got pain points that they need resolved. And this is where recruiters come in, right? So myself being in recruitment for many years, whatever type of market is in that I've been recruiting in, and whether it's a down market or an up market, the conversations with the clients are always the same, and it is, hey Dean, we got such and such project going on, we got these pain points that we need resolved. We need XYZ individuals with such and such skill sets and expertise and talent to be brought on to help us with this project and this problem and with these pain points. The conversation is almost always identical, folks, right? So just like Gurpreet said, don't get distracted, don't get panicked by the pandemic. Yeah, we're in a lockdown now, right? But that doesn't change the reason as to why companies and industries are hiring. That's what you got to focus on.
Great point, Dean. And a lot of people forget, a lot of people get intimidated because, I know a lot of things are going on. Same thing during the recession when people think that, oh my God, there's recession, no companies are hiring. So many companies are still hiring during the recession, and some are not. And then also new businesses emerge, and that's what we are seeing right now happen too. Like businesses that have emerged. I know so many new businesses that are hiring right now. I was just on a call earlier, just before hopping onto this. I know somebody whose business has started to grow during this pandemic, and they're looking for like web developers, AI, blockchain. Yeah. I know another friend of mine owns a IT a security company, IT consulting company, and they're booming. They've grown up to 200 employees, and they're they're going through a merger right now. And then after the mergers happen, they're going to assess, because before the merger they were actually looking to hire, but now because of the merger they put a brakes on hiring. But they're going to be hiring. So, Amazon's hiring, like tons of companies are hiring. There was a list that I did post one time. There were so many tech startups that emerged during this pandemic that were hiring like crazy. There was another person in my network just 2 days ago, I saw a post, and they were hiring for developers, app developers, back-end software developers, and just the list was going on. And there's like, these are the roles right now, but because we secured funding, keep an eye, we're going to be hiring a lot more people. So a lot of companies, startups have really grown. So guys, don't kid yourself and fool yourself because your friend said this or this person saying this. There's tons of opportunities. And with this employer market, traditional job search methods are not going to work. So I posted this yesterday on LinkedIn that during this pandemic, the reason many individuals are struggling in their job search is because you're using traditional job search method by sitting behind a computer and applying to jobs. Now, those methods are not going to work, and that is why you're struggling during this pandemic. Not that people weren't struggling in job search before the pandemic, but more people are struggling because when you're applying to jobs online, you're competing with 200, 500, let's go, like so many candidates. You're competing with hundreds, right? And when you're competing with so many candidates, your odds of getting that, like, okay, let's say 500 candidates apply, but like Glassdoor is saying on average only 4 to 6 people will get interviewed. I would say about 10 to 15 will get a phone screen interview, or like the pre-screening stage, and then maybe in person, 4 to 6 people will get invited for in-person interview, and then you go into the rounds of the interviews, right? Now, when you have like 500 people applying and maybe 10 people will get the interview, guys, you got to sit there and ask yourself, well, what are my odds of landing that interview? How will I be that 5% or it's less, right? A lot of people, every day I'm having conversations, I tweak my resume, I'm doing this, I'm still not getting a call. Tweaking your resume is not going to work anymore. You're going to have to literally, your resume 100%, like I mean 100% needs to speak to that one job you're applying to in order to be that 5% to get the interview, right? Like at least get the call.
Exactly.
In the beginning, you're just getting
Yeah.
the call. Now, this is why this traditional job search method is not working for so many people. And this is why, oh my God, so many people messaged me yesterday, 9 months, 12 months,
Wow.
8 months. And like literally, I can't show these messages, but I'm not lying. Guys, I'm not lying, by the way. Okay. I know a lot of people like, oh, you know, you say this, but how do I know it's the truth? But it is the truth. So many people are struggling right now in this pandemic, but you don't need to struggle. The reason you're struggling is because you just keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome, but different outcome's not going to happen. To land a job during this pandemic, you have to do something different. The different is you got to tap into the hidden job market. Now, hidden job market, 80% of all available jobs are in the hidden job market. Now, to tap into this hidden job market, same thing. Traditional methods of tapping into the hidden job market is not going to work. That is, let's ask for informational interviews. I had somebody I was speaking to last week on Zoom. They sent out 100 plus messages on LinkedIn asking for informational interview.
Sorry, how many?
100 plus.
100 plus. Wow. Okay.
And I stopped him, like I let him finish it, but I'm like, well, that's the first mistake. He sent out 100. Sent out 100 plus DMs on LinkedIn, connected with people, and then he was messaging them. 100 plus, roughly 90 hours were spent.
Wow.
Doing this. Only 22 people replied back. Then he spent 45 days talking to 22 people, about 30, 35 or 40 minutes conversations. Out of the 22, over the 45 days, 4 people referred him in their company, and he got the first round of an interview, which is with HR. And that was it. He didn't
just one interview.
Just 4 people referred, and he did 4 interviews with HR, the first initial round, and he goes, nothing came out. I go, okay, so first step, 100 plus is a lot of people. And if you are, it was pretty much generic message. The only tweak he did was kind of made it personal to put their name and the job they were working in, but still generic. And I'm like, well, if you sent 100, that's the first mistake. It took you over 100 messages and it still didn't click to you. Your approach is not working, because over 100 and only 22, that's less than 22% people your return.
Yeah.
And then only 4 people referred you, but they only referred you to HR.
Yeah. Not directly with the actual decision maker. Yeah.
No. So one step, I said, first of all, 100 people is a lot of people. That's where you went wrong. Second, it was about quality, not quantity. Second, your message is wrong. First, you shouldn't be asking for informational interviews. I don't think that stuff works. And here's a perfect example why informational interviews don't work. And only 4 people referred you, but only to HR.
Yeah.
So then you weren't even reaching out to decision makers.
Might as well apply it directly. I mean, might as well just apply it yourself, right? Yeah.
See, referrals. See, a lot of people don't understand referrals. Okay, so there is referral, meaning a person is willing to put their name and say, okay, this person referred me. When an employee in the company is referring you to a position, and they're saying, use my name, all you're gonna get is an interview from HR. That's it. Unless this person directly referred you to the hiring manager, then you're going to get a call with the hiring manager to have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
The majority of the time, these referrals only lead to one call. And HR is doing, what do you call it?
A favor?
Yeah, like the employee refers, so let me speak to this person, right? So an obligation.
I don't know obligation.
My sister used to work at Accenture. If I used her name, I'll get call.
Yeah.
But if I didn't pass that first round with HR, I'm not going anywhere, right? Yeah. So that's a lot of times people don't understand how referrals work. guys, you have to hit the decision maker, not the not just people in company. And I know when you Google hidden job market, they say networking, ask for information on interviews, reach out to employees that are working in this company. No, that's the wrong approach. You want to go to the decision maker. Go to the decision maker. Okay, that's how you can get hired in 30 days. Now, we're going to quickly jump into how you can get hired in 30 days. So you're going to hear Dean speak from a recruiter's perspective on how you can get hired in 30 days. Then I'll fill in anything that Dean's missed. And then, guys, we're going to open up our live to anybody that wants to get coached by us. I'm going to drop the link, and you can click on the link. It will bring you onto StreamYard. So it's a third-party system. And then you can speak directly with us. It's up to you if you want to show your face or not. So we're not going to push people, but it'd be nice to see who we're speaking to. But here's your opportunity to get coaching from two coaches. One's IT, one's a recruiter, one's HR, one's IT recruiter, one's HR. Plus, both of us do career coaching and job search coaching. So here's your opportunity. All those people that have been messaging me and you can't afford my services, here's your opportunity to get free coaching from not just me, but another coach as well. So we're going to troubleshoot your one problem, guys. So we're trying to get as many people as we can. So we're going to help as many people as we can today in about 30 minutes of time that we may have, because the live is only for an hour. So if you want to join, I've dropped the link. And in the meantime, Dean, can you walk through your advice and tips on how someone can land a job in 30 days?
Yeah, sure thing. And also, Gurpreet, I noticed that I don't think you dropped the link for LinkedIn. I do see it for YouTube, but not for LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm dropping it right now.
Cool. Yeah, so folks, feel free to tune in, join in live and ask us your questions. All right, so how to land yourself a job in 30 days. Now, I'm going to share with you my perspective and on something very important. I would say as a very important first step that I have observed, working in recruitment, that I've found that a lot of candidates are kind of missing. And that is figuring out what their end goal is and what their target is. If you don't have a target, folks, your job search is going to be that much more difficult. Now, working as a recruiter, one of the major mistakes I've seen many people make that I've spoken to is simply spreading themselves too thin, right? And I can totally understand your situation as well. Especially if you're unemployed, you're recently let go, maybe you're new to the country, maybe you're a new graduate, you're just trying to get started working, right? So you're like, okay, yeah, I'm cool with this kind of position. I'm okay with these kind of positions. I'm okay with those kind of positions. But that, in fact, folks, is going to actually further lengthen the duration of your job search. So the first thing you got to do is you got to hone in on and target on exactly what you're looking to focus on. Like, you should be focusing on maybe one position. I mean, I would say two positions, because there are some fields that do have combined roles. For example, business analyst / QA, project manager / scrum master. I mean, those are some exceptions there. But you need to target, you need to know exactly what you're targeting, right? So that's step number one. Now, the next thing is, and Gurpreet already kind of touched on this, is you have to make sure that your resume is top notch and it has the ability to attract the attention of recruiters and hiring managers, but not only get them to actually read over it, but also capture attention. So tip number two is, look, everybody talks about, hey, how do I beat the ATS? How do I beat the ATS? How do I get back the ATS? But nobody talks about the second component, and that is, how do I get the attention of someone that's actually going to make them want to read through my resume and actually give me a phone call? Yeah. So if your resume is generic, if it's just like, and we've spoken about this many times in the past, if it reads like a job description, you're not getting anyone's attention, folks. And the fact is, every resume submitted to an ATS technically does make it past the ATS, if you want to look at it that way. Every single ATS submitted actually is past the ATS, like it is in the ATS.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's nothing to beat. There's no such thing as beat the ATS. And this, by the way, is why, and not to discredit any coaches out there. Like, if anyone out there is saying, yeah, how do we can show you how to beat the ATS, has probably never worked with an ATS, because every single application and resume submitted to an ATS makes it through. Now the problem is, it's just sitting there, right? So the next part is, you got to make sure that your resume is top notch. It shows your value and what you bring to the table.
I'm going to interject for a second.
Yeah, sure.
the ATS piece, right?
Yeah.
So there's no such thing. I get what candidates say, beat the ATS.
Yeah.
And I say the same thing. I agree with you. There's no such thing as beating the ATS, because once you upload your resume, it's sitting in that system. It's called, like, simplify the term, database. You become a database. Now, depending on how much money the company's invested in getting an ATS, that plays a huge factor, guys, by the way. There's also a way to find out on what system the company is using. It's there's a way in which I actually go over in the bootcamp program, and I actually have a whole class on ATS. So ATS, depending on, there's so many different versions of ATS. So it all comes down to how much money the company's invested in getting the ATS and the different features of it. So let's speak of the mother of all ATS. One of the mother of all ATS is Taleo. It was by far one of the first ones to hit the market for applicant tracking systems. Now, I call this system, I've used this system, I've implemented this system, I've rolled it out, I've taught end users how to use it, I've done training on it. And I can tell you, by the way, guys, I do a lot of research on ATS, tech in HR, because I'm HR, plus I have a degree in IT. I'm very into HR tech space. One thing a lot of people don't understand, and one of the things job seekers or candidates looking for a job needs to understand, is how ATS works. I don't think a lot of people understand how it works. Then it's impossible to understand every single ATS, how it works, but keep in mind that a company who's invested money in getting Taleo, and if they've opted to get the entire package of all the features, one of the features like Taleo has is that when a candidate submits their resume to a job posting, okay, now I can tell it how to screen all those incoming resumes, because I'm going to set all the criteria for it. Then it's going to collect these resumes coming in, and then it's screening it based on what I'm telling it to screen it. Now, if I pay for the full features of Taleo, now the system is going to rank the candidates for me. 100% match, 90% match, 80% match, 60% match, 80 or 50, whatever, right? So now all I have to do is look at the top 10. Look at the top 10. I don't need to go any further than top 10, and I'm going to call these top 10 first, right? Batch 1, top 10. I'm going to go through these candidates. I'm going to look at their resume, and that's what Dean is saying, guys. There's no such thing as passing it, but I get your term as well, what you mean. So now you say you fall in the rank. Now I'm going to go open only the first 10 resumes, the top 10, right? 100%, 90%, whatever. Whoever the top 10 is. Now I'm going to read these resumes. But nobody reads them.
Yeah.
We do quick scans, right? This is why they say you have 5 to 8 seconds to grab the reader's attention. That's the second piece, guys, that Dean's talking about. When when it came in front of our eyes, in front of a human being's eyes, we have to be the ones that are so enticed that it's a no-brainer that I gotta call you or email you and set up an interview. I usually email candidates. I never call. I get a better result. But Dean, on the other hand, being a recruiter, probably pick up the phone and be like, hey, I need to speak to you, right? Because also know the end user. If you're working with recruitment agencies, they're going to like boom, 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 right? If you're applying to jobs in the corporate world, not boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to be like, slow compared to a recruiter and a recruitment agency. Now, when it's in the front of a human being, it should be no-brainer the need to like call you. Okay? That's how online works, guys. And we just pretty much teaching you right now how to beat the ATS and what you need. Like, okay, not 100% teaching you how to beat it, but you gotta keep it. You gotta first understand you can't beat the system if you don't know how a system works.
Yeah.
Right? And then again, there's so much advice on Google. JobScan, there's platforms out there. But what people are forgetting is go use JobScan. I'm not stopping. I think it's a smart thing to do is go to JobScan or similar systems to see how you rank, because that will give you a good idea. I'm telling you guys, if you're going to only stick to applying to jobs online, then you better make sure you use systems like JobScan and stuff, and you better make sure your resume 100% matches. But don't forget the second piece. Don't make your entire resume keyword, 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 because it's landing in front of a human being, and the human being is going to look for more than keywords. Okay? So keep that in mind, guys. Sorry, I took.
No worries. And these are such good points, right? And one more thing, which you made me think about as well, Gurpreet, is look, I understand a lot of you folks are frustrated with the ATS, right? The ATS is it's hard for you to figure out the ATS. The recruitment process is not fair and stuff like that. But always remember, folks, and you want to write this down: the ATS and the recruitment process was not built with the candidate or the job seeker in mind. It's not built for candidates and job seekers. It's built to the benefit of recruiters and for organizations. So always remember that. I think you have a question there.
Yeah, the reason I pulled up is I think this is a great question. Guys, it doesn't matter what industry you are in. It blows my mind how many people think when someone's giving advice, oh, is it relevant to my agency? If you are in my industry or my market, if you are applying to jobs online, guys, you are dealing with the ATS. 99%. You are dealing with an ATS. Indeed, by the way, is not ATS. Indeed is a job board, guys. So let me even explain job boards, for example. A lot of people think Indeed is is ATS. I wish that they had that capability, but they don't. It's just a job board. On my end, it's not doing anything for me. I have to physically go through the resumes. So it's not, unless the company, here's the thing. If I'm using Indeed, but then I'm telling candidates externally, there's a link externally, you guys are dealing with ATS. The minute you go to an external link, and it's so streamless that you're not going to even notice that you've gone through another link. So guys, always pay attention to the web address. It will tell you, because no company out there has their own ATS, unless it is the ATS company you're applying to. Like Success Factors by who? No.
I think that's SAP, yeah.
SAP. Then there's Workday, there's Ceridian, there's Taleo. If you're applying to companies that are ATS, then yeah, you're not going to have a third link because that's their system. But majority of companies are using Success Factors, Workday, Ceridian, Taleo. What is the other ones? There's so many. There's just so many. All you have to do is, when you go to an application process, click on the web address and you'll see. It would give you a name, and then it's then you see Bell if you're applying to Bell, right? But you'll see it'll be a name dot, then the company name, then it's dot something careers, whatever the case is, right? Yeah. So guys, it doesn't matter if you're in the ad world, copyright jobs. If you are applying to jobs online, 99% of companies are using applicant tracking system to manage the recruitment process.
Yeah. And so I guess, going from there, folks, again, you got to understand that the reason why you'll never see recruiters or hiring people complain about ATS systems is because it's doing exactly what it wants them to do, which is find talent and locate talent. So you had to understand how to navigate that. And just like Gurpreet said, get the attention of the person reading the resume. Now, next part is, do you have a strong professional brand, right? Do you have are you well known in your industry? Are you taking proactive steps in being visible and well known and known in your industry on LinkedIn? Or are you a spectator? Are you simply, someone that logs in and just looks at posts, likes stuff, comments, and then applies for jobs and that kind of stuff? LinkedIn is the most powerful platform, especially right now, folks, for you to establish your professional brand, your personal brand. And Gurpreet and myself can speak about this because we've done this very thing ourselves, built ourselves a very very powerful and well-known brand, especially Gurpreet. I mean, she has way more followers than I have, and it's because she has put in that time and effort in building out
I've
the.
been killing it on this platform since 2015.
Yeah, there you go, right? I mean, and she's taken a lot of time and effort into doing it as well, right? And that's the reason why all of you tuning in here today, whether you're tuning in because you know Gurpreet, or whether you know myself, or maybe you know both of us, it's because you know that, okay, yeah, these this individual or these two individuals, they know what they're talking about, they know their stuff, they provide credible information. What are you doing at your end, folks, to establish yourself in that way? And with that, my next question is, would that put you in a powerful position? Would that get the attention of organizations, of companies, of hiring teams, of people that would want to refer you? How much more comfortable would people be in referring you when you have a powerful, strong personal brand? Gurpreet, your thoughts on that as well, like in terms of the professional branding?
Yeah, and so personal branding. Now, as Dean said, you guys are here because you either follow one of us or both of us or whatever the case is, right? So one of the biggest way you can land a job in 30 days, grow your career like there's no tomorrow, and make a lot of money is by building your brand. There's no buts, there's no ifs. It works like magic. And a lot of people are on LinkedIn, but then they underutilizing the powerful tool that LinkedIn is. LinkedIn isn't job board. It's not job board. It's a networking site. It's a professional networking site. And that's what it's always been. Yes, they've added all these different features and all that stuff to so the companies can post jobs and all that stuff. But it is a networking. And the goal behind LinkedIn is still to help career professionals to network with other people to grow their career, to land job opportunities, right? That was the whole purpose behind it. But a lot of people started seeing this platform as job posts, and job seekers come on it only when they're looking for a job. But nowadays, yeah, you see so much activities on LinkedIn. You want to build your brand on LinkedIn. It's by far the best platform to build your brand, and you can see results like this. Now, building your brand is not going to have it open overnight, and a lot of people don't know how to build their brand. Brand building, what do people say about you behind your back? I simplify it to that. Like, what do people say? To build your brand, you have to sit there and ask yourself, what do I want to be recognized for? When someone says my name, automatically what they should think of, right? So when people think of me, HR superhero, though it's my company name, but I branded it like that, right? Probably one of the smartest things I've ever done in 2019 was change my company name to HR superhero. And there's a whole background on how I did it, which I actually go over in the bootcamp program, and how I did it, how I came up with this name. There's a whole story behind it, and how it just started sticking to people. And now when people think of me, boom, it's HR superhero, right? I didn't have a master plan behind it, guys, by the way. But when people can relate to it, it sticks. It sticks like a glue. And guess what? People will never forget it. Right? But now you got to live up to the hype.
Yeah.
People are going to see me as the HR superhero. Now, you don't have to agree with me every time. I'm not saying I'm the perfect HR know-it-all. But the sticking point, and then building your content. The magic actually happens by building content on LinkedIn. The brand building doesn't happen by you just having a profile. A lot of people think I have a profile, I'm good. No, you have to make the profile work for you. You need to write content, and the best content is post writing. Now, a lot of people I know are going to say, well, how do I write posts? Which posts shall I write? Guys, we actually cover this in our bootcamp program that me and Dina collaborated on. For IT is with Dean, and the non-IT people, you get me only. But with IT, excuse me.
Bless you.
you get two, both me and Dean, and in the program I actually teach you how to write content, and you also get examples of my content that's done like 300,000 views or 400,000 views. So you get that access to that, plus we are reviewing your content. You have to write content to the target audience you're targeting and the goal. Like, what do you want people to know you by? What should people think of? Like, now when people think of Dean, they think of IT recruiter, job search, and he does LinkedIn Live, right? So now there's three things he's associated with. So if you go to his page, you will see his banner. A lot of people don't even use the banner space correctly. So there's tons of ways to build your brand. And by far, guys, I'm not kidding you, that's probably the best way to land jobs. It's the best way to grow your career. You don't have to worry about ATS. You don't have to worry about resumes. You can have opportunities coming to you. And I'm not bullshitting, pardon my language, when I'm saying this, that opportunities come to you when you start focusing on building your brand. It's so powerful, and there's so much magic in it. And guess what? You never have to chase jobs. You never have to chase companies, because you just switch the flip or switch the. Now I'm losing my own words.
Flip the switch. Yeah. Even I got a little confused.
Oh my God, there we go. You flip the switch, right? So you just turn the tables now. So now they're coming to you, and that's the power of brand building, is they're coming to you, right? You don't need to go anywhere. And both Dean and I are prime examples of that, where companies are reaching out to you, us, or we're getting invited to speak or jump on podcasts, this conference event. I'm doing a conference next week, 2 back-to-back. I got approached to speak at it, and that's the power of brand building. That's the power of being active and visual on LinkedIn, writing your own content, producing videos, and then if you have LinkedIn Live, doing that, hopping on other people's LinkedIn Live. Don't be scared to reach out to somebody and say, hey, here's a topic that I would love to collaborate with you and hop onto your LinkedIn Live. There's tons of ways to build brand. By far, it's the best approach. You don't have to worry about networking. You don't have to worry about sending DMs to people on asking for information or interviews. You want to be seen as a leader, as an expert, someone who really knows their industry inside out. 80-90% of your content should be focused on value add about your industry, and 20%, 10% can be a little bit personal, right? So you kind of mix it up. Tons of ways to build your brand, tons of ways. And we teach this. I've been teaching brand building for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and that's why you'll see Gurpreet's posts are like they go viral. Yeah. Like they're even like I personally have, like, she's the master at
not all the time.
No, I know not all the time, but yeah.
I've had some great posts. Like I had one that I wrote in 2019. My first post that hit like 300, close to 400,000 views was 2019, and I was sitting in the back seat and I wrote it. Wow. I actually don't plan my content, so I'm not joking about this. I had this call with somebody. I don't plan my content. So that was the first post. Then another post did really well. Last year I had few. I'm not going to sit here and say all my posts hit 300,000 or 400,000, 200 or 6 figures. No, it just depends on what you're writing and how it resonates with people. But power, there's true power in content writing, truly powerful. Content writing isn't just for entrepreneurs. It's not for people selling things. It's not for companies with products. It's for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And folks, it's the best way to build your professional brand, build your credibility. And also, as another kind of a thing, you're adding value to your network as well, which, guess what happens then? Your network starts seeing you as an expert. They start liking your stuff. They start commenting on your stuff. And guess what? If they do want to refer you, they're going to feel much more comfortable referring you, given that you have a strong and established brand, right? So that's another thing you want to make sure that you're doing to establish yourself on LinkedIn. And if you want more information about the bootcamp, again, reach out to myself or Gurpreet if you're in IT. If you're non-IT, reach out to Gurpreet directly. Yeah, you wanted to say something, Gurpreet?
I was going to say, you know what? We only have about 20 minutes. So, guys, we're open now to coaching anybody that wants to be coached by me and Dean. I've dropped the link in the comment section. All you have to do is click it, hop on to StreamYard with us, and speak to us. So, here's free coaching. Ask us any questions. Tell us what you're struggling with. We'll give you some advice and tips. So, I started doing this on Sunday, and then we did it on my last live. Dean did it yesterday on his live. We actually like it because we get to talk to people instead of reading comments. So if you are not shy, okay, seize the moment, guys. Seize this opportunity. Click on the link and join and tell us your problems. If you can't join, as someone saying they can't join, then type your questions in the comment section and we will answer because we only have 20 minutes. So if you want to speak to us directly, join us on this live. Here you go.
If your camera shy, folks, just disable your camera. But so then you can just use audio and ask us the question using your mic. So we'd love to interact with you live in person. We're definitely gonna get into the questions from the comments, but we love interacting with all of you folks like live, right? Like through voice. If you don't want the camera on, so if you don't want to have the camera on, that's fine. Turn off the camera. But click the link, ask us your question live. We're happy to answer any of your questions, any of your job search questions, and coach you. Take advantage of this opportunity, folks. We'll coach you live for free right now.
Yeah, and guess what? It's free, right? We're coaching people for free. So hop on and talk to us. Type it if you're scared. Oh, no, somebody's hopped on.
All right, we got our first.
Hi, Roshan. You got to unmute your mic. You have to unmute.
You're on mute, Roshan. Quote of the year, by the way, right?
I know, the same thing happened last time. Oh, guys, by the way, we can only coach people who are living in Canada or US. Both Dean and I have never worked or recruited outside of North America, so we won't be able to coach people outside of these two countries. So you must be in Canada. So I don't know what's happening with Roshan.
Yeah, make sure your mic is functioning, folks. If you're going to be, you got to have a mic. Otherwise, you won't be able to speak to us. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Roshan.
Hey, Dean.
How can we help you?
Roshan, are you there? I think we lost you, Roshan.
Hello?
I'm all there.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a lag. Yeah, Roshan, thanks so much for calling in. So what do you do, and then what's your question?
I don't actually have a question. I'm just listening because there are a lot of good things are shared here.
Okay. So are you actively job searching right now, Roshan? Yeah, I think there's a bit of a lag here. So I think there's some technical difficulties at Roshan's end, but so anyone else, if you want to tune in, hit that link. We're happy to happy for you to come on live, ask us your question, any job search questions. You got recruitment questions. You want to know a recruiter's perspective. Myself being a recruiter, you want to know an HR person's perspective. You got resume questions. You got interview questions, negotiations, salary negotiations, branding, any stuff like that. Take advantage of the opportunity, folks. But you got to make sure you have a mic because otherwise you might not be able to speak to us. And if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine. You do have the option to disable your camera when you join in.
So we're also taking questions in the comment section. So drop your questions. But guys, seize the moment, okay? This is an opportunity for you to get coached by two people, not just one, two people that are experts in the industry. One's a recruiter, one's HR, plus we're both job search coaches. So seize the moment. Don't be scared. Hop on, talk to us. And if you can't, if for whatever reason you can't hop on this call, no problem. Drop your questions below. We'll answer it. So I've already dropped the link saying, hey, if you want to get coached, this is free coaching, guys. Take it. Okay. Okay, let's go through questions. As a fresher, how to look for opportunities?
Okay, so that's Anshu. As a fresher, how to look for opportunities. So Anshu, first of all, like when you say fresher, so I'm assuming you're saying that you're a new graduate. So first of all, you got to know what you're aiming for, right, Anshu? So I don't know what your field is or what your background is. You have to know what positions are you going to target. Number two is you might not have professional experience. Now, a lot of new graduates, they're like, okay, yeah, I don't have professional experience. I can't do anything. I can't show anything. But the fact is, you need to leverage onto your academic projects that you worked on while you were in school, right? So you have plenty of those projects you can show, and you should be able to show potential employers at your interviews or when you're reaching out to them a samplings of your actual work. Now, maybe you don't have any projects like that. Well, fine. You need to start building out and creating your own portfolio, which again you can show employers and potential employers, recruiters, all those individuals as you're going through with your job search process. So you need to look at, first of all, what you're looking for. You got to look at where these opportunities are and leverage your academic experience, as well as, if you don't have that or if you do have that, build out your own portfolio of work as well, which you can show.
Okay. You covered everything. Okay, can you expand on differences suggested between traditional job search methods to pandemic time job search methods? Also, can you let the viewers know a good job search site other than Indeed or Canadian engineering jobs? Thanks. So we've been talking about how job boards is not the best strategy. So traditional job search is what we talked about. So unless you have another question, Anudeep, I think we've covered this topic really, really well for 40 minutes. So we're gonna go to the next one. Guys, when we say traditional job searching is exactly what this question is. Tell me about other job search sites. That is traditional job search. Traditional job search is let me sit on the computer, look for jobs and apply. That's traditional job search. That's not going to work during this pandemic. You have to access the hidden job market. Hidden job market is 80% of available jobs are in the hidden job market, and these are jobs that are not visible. They're hidden, and they're not advertised and not posted, hence why a lot of people don't have access to it. Everybody has access to jobs that are posted. Everyone has access to jobs that are posted. Everyone does not have access to hidden job market, hence is hidden. There's like 6 or 10 strategies that we cover in our bootcamp program, but that really work. There's tons of strategies out there that people are giving, and they're very generic and they don't work. Chances of them working are very, very low. The strategies that we teach, they're really work. They're real impact, real results, no bullshit, and they work because we're all about getting people a job in 30 days. So we're not chasing people, we're not bullshitting. There's no time. If you want to get a job in 30 days, there's no time for bullshits and games and let's try this, let's try that. No, we are teaching you proven strategies that work and will get you results fast. Dean, you want to add anything there?
No, I think you pretty much covered that. But yeah, Anudeep, I mean, look, the traditional job search is basically kind of what you've alluded to there in your question, my friend. But it's basically when you're applying to the job boards or applying to the website, you're waiting for a response, right? So what we were discussing in this segment so far is, hey, basically you got to take a more proactive approach, right? Using all those methods that we spoke about. So feel free to watch the replay of the segment. We did cover that in detail. And definitely feel free to reach out to us if you have any more questions about that.
If all are editing their resumes as per ATS, what can we do to boost our resumes to stand out?
Well, I guess we kind of already covered that, right, Divya? Yeah. So, first of all, you want to make sure your resume is top notch. It's matching the requirements for the position as stated on the job description. Make sure it stands out, right? You're not just talking about what you did and it's like a job description. And then finally, having said all that, you don't want to depend solely on your resume either, right? You got to use other avenues, which myself and Gurpreet have spoken about, your brand building and other various methods, so that you're able to you really stand out, and not be just another one of those 100 resumes on the ATS.
Recruiters are too elusive. How to contact them?
Okay.
Yeah. You, Dean.
Right, so Radhika, yeah, good question, right? So what Radhika is saying is, look, recruiters are like, how do you contact recruiters? How do you get their attention? So first thing, folks, and a lot of you are not going to like what I'm about to say, all right, about recruiters, but this is the reality, right? A recruiter's job is not a recruiter's primary function is to not help you find a job. All right. If you're taking notes, you want to write that down. A recruiter's primary function is not to help you find a job. A recruiter's primary function is to find talent for organizations, right? There's a clear distinction, very important distinction there. So the extent to which you are able to capture a recruiter's attention or you're able to position yourself as top talent is the degree to which they see that you have the right skills that they're looking for on behalf of their organizations or their clients. So Radhika, my advice to you is I would assume that maybe your resume is not standing out, it's not capturing their attention, or maybe you're reaching out to recruiters that are not really looking for someone with your skill set combination right now. So if you want to get the attention of recruiters, you got to make sure, first of all, you know what they're recruiting on, and secondly, you gotta find out, like, hey, okay, based on this job description or what they're recruiting on, what about myself would capture their attention? It's got to be based on relevance, Radhika, right? So if you know a recruiter is recruiting on XYZ skills, XYZ skills is what you got to focus on when you're reaching out to them, when you're communicating with them, and when you're interviewing with them as well. But hope that helps, Radhika, and great question.
Link is not clickable. Yeah, it is. It's clickable. If you look in the chat, it's clickable. Oh, Gaurav. I know this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both of us know him. He actually hopped onto my Zoom last week for when I was doing Zoom coaching.
Oh, nice.
What's your take on interviews which give you an assignment to complete as per screening, and the assignment is not like small? It take about a couple of days to finish development and submit to the hiring manager.
Okay, so I'm going to share my perspective as a recruiter, and I'm very eager to hear Gurpreet's perspective on this as well. Now, my perspective, and I might offend a few, if there's any hiring managers watching this, I might offend a few right here, but I think this is such a foolish practice.
Oh my God, amen.
Yeah, to give like an entire a lengthy project for people like. And again, based on working as a recruiter, I have seen so many top-notch candidates drop out of the interview process because of ridiculous practices like this, like expecting people to complete entire projects that it's not like either. It's like a couple of days worth of actual work. So my standpoint on this, Gaurav, it's foolish. It doesn't make sense. And organizations are going to lose out on top-notch talent because top-notch talent knows that they don't need to jump through such hoops. They know that they can go to any company they want and get themselves interviews. So usually the top people always drop out of the interview process whenever I see this happen.
Guys, don't let companies walk all over you. When companies, first of all, no work should be signed to any candidate. I hate that practice. This is free work. You are willing to do free work, that's upon you. But as companies, so I'm an HR person, and I know a lot of companies are not going to like this, hiring managers, but anybody, if you're, especially in a company that has HR and they're allowing hiring managers to do this, shame on you as an HR professional, because you shouldn't be, these are not practices that should be part of the recruitment process. No candidate should be doing any work outside of the interviews. You can do assessment tests, technical assessment, but you cannot give work to candidates to do and then expect them to complete it. And a lot of it's all free work, guys. It's all free work. You should say thank you, but no thank you. And that's it. Walk away. How a company treats you during the recruitment process speaks volumes to their company culture, how that manager is going to treat you. Guys, don't sit there for a second and think the company is going to treat you any better. A lot of this stuff happens because you're also, as a candidate, playing an active role in allowing this to happen. The days all candidates start saying no to these assignments, guess what? The company is going to have no choice than to not have it part of the recruitment process. But as long as there's one person who's willing to do these assignments, doing free work, for a job, part of a recruitment process, that process is never going to change. So keep that in mind. If you want change, you have to be the change. A lot of times I see all these candidates talking about X, Y, and Z, but then you're also the same candidate that's willing to do all this to get the job. You can expect companies to change anything about the recruitment process if you are actively willing to play the part. If you're going to do it. So you're condoning their behavior. Now, ATS is a different story because applicant tracking system is not designed for you. It's never made for you. It's not your friend. It's made for recruitment and HR to streamline our processes and hold database resumes. We're collecting resumes. Try doing that manually. I've done it back in the days when ATS was very tiny little technology that was coming to the surface. It's a lot of work and it's not an efficient way to be utilizing my time. So ATS is not your friend, and that ATS is not going anywhere, guys, by the way, but that's a different process. But when companies are talking to candidates and then asking them to do, 3 months or 6 months plans, I've turned those interviews. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Why am I putting in a 6-month plan when you haven't hired me? I will put a plan when you hire me. That's part of my job. That's part of my onboarding process. Why am I putting any plan? So again, guys, don't do free work. If possible, please let me know best resume building format for Canadian. Okay. There's really no best or 100% format, but things to remember is that don't put your date of birth, any personal information other than your name and just the city or location, your phone number and email. That's it. That's pretty much it. And then the presentation of your resume does matter. So if you're applying to jobs like manager level, senior level, or you're like a experienced professional, I do believe that then your resume needs to be presented really well. Resume is the first piece of paper someone's seeing of you.
Yeah.
Dean, you've seen a lot of your resumes.
Oh yeah. And one thing I wanted to add is, and this probably goes out to those of you who are new to the country, you don't need to put any personal information. Like some of you folks are putting in your parents' names, your passport number, your SIN number, your date of birth, your marital status. Like you don't need to include any of that. That's personal, private information. You should not be putting that on your resume.
Yeah, and also your resume, if you're going to be applying to jobs online, has to be applicant tracking system ATS friendly.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi guys, can you also share best IT resume writing practice? Is it good to mention and describe the project on resume? Doing so make it too lengthy, and not doing it feels like I'm not able to showcase the skill set properly.
All right, so Gaurav, first of all, so in terms of the IT resume, first what you gotta make sure, kind of like connecting from what Gurpreet said just now is avoid any fancy positioning and tables and charts and all of that stuff. I've noticed a lot of people have started doing these like charts and graphics and pictographs and stuff like that. But guess what? The ATS is not going to pick up on that. It's going to come. It's going to the ATS, what it does is it takes the document, right? The Word document or PDF you upload, and it converts it, or what's called parses it into a readable format within the ATS. Now, if you have graphics and charts and all this fancy stuff, it's not going to translate all that stuff. So make sure it's 100% text, right? And it's laid out in a proper manner. You want to highlight your relevant skills, right? Relevant skills, and same thing with projects. You want to talk about the most relevant projects as possible. Now, sometimes you might not be able to figure this out. Sometimes it might not be as clear on the job description, but when it is, as you're reviewing the job description, you as a professional in your field should be able to gather, hey, it looks like these are the types of stuff that they're looking for. So therefore, on your resume, you got to customize it and make sure you're highlighting those relevant projects. So go for relevance, Gaurav, and you don't want to focus on just what you did. You got to show outcomes and results. And you want to see how you can even quantify those outcomes and results you achieved. Because ultimately, Gaurav, companies are not hiring people to perform tasks. They're hiring people to perform tasks that achieve outcomes and end results and and some kind of an ROI. So you want to communicate that on your resume. Now, the length of the resume, in the world of IT, I can tell you the length is, I mean, it's okay if it's beyond 2 pages. You don't want to make it something like ridiculous, like, 15, 20 pages or something, unless you're applying to a federal government or
Government, I was
governmental.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
those resumes are like so long. They actually love it the longer it is. But other than that, if it's like 4, 5, 6 pages, it's completely fine. Like, especially if you're someone who's at a senior level or something, it's completely fine. But you want to focus on relevance. Relevant stuff is what you want to mention on your resume.
Okay, guys, so that's all the time we had. Don't forget to show some love to our segment if you found it insightful, if it's added value to you in any means. Please hit those little emojis like the like, support, love, write your comments. So this was the segment for today. We do have an IT bootcamp program that is starting next Saturday. That is a collaboration with Dean and myself. It's a program that I've designed 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. I'll be hitting my 2-year mark on this program. It's all about getting you hired in 30 days. So a little bit of name change. It used to be called Bootcamp Land a Job in 30 Days or Dream Job in 30 Days. We're now calling it Get Hired in 30 Days. Very doable. Yes, it is doable. During this pandemic, we've helped many people get jobs even during this pandemic. So very, very doable. And we're going to teach you everything that you need to know on how to land a job in 30 days. You get 2 coaches for the price of one, Dean and myself. It's an amazing program. We're with you for 5 weeks, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
3 times a week, and tons of valuable, like there's unlimited support in a private Facebook group. It's a very, very well structured program. Okay. And we are serious about getting people jobs in 30 days, like so serious that hence why we're with you for 3 times a week. We're really serious and committed to getting people hired in 30 days. It's doable. I've been doing it for past almost 2 years. So no bullshit, just results. That's my tagline. You can even read it on my LinkedIn under my about section. It's written there near the end. If you read my about summary, it says no bullshit, just results. Because I don't believe in bullshit. I don't believe in wine and dining and dancing around and then let's get to the hard stuff, because that time is money. Time is money, and I don't want to waste anyone's time. So hop on to our program if you are ready to land jobs. Now, Gaurav is one that I think should be joining our program because he's been joining our lives for how many months now? Sorry to put you on the spot, Gaurav. But if you are committed, you're ready. And the best part is this program, yes, it's short term, sounds short term, but actually the strategies we do teach are long term, and will help you not only land a job in 30 days, but also get you great, great, great salaries. Great salaries. IT especially, man, there's tons of money to be made for IT professionals. Plus the strategies we teach you, we also teach brand building in the program. So that's going to help you build your entire career, set you up for success for life in your career. I guarantee that 100% you will be setting yourself, we will be setting you up for life. It's a one-time program that you need to take and set yourself and your career up for life. Okay, so there's a long-term goal in this program, and the short term is to get you hired in 30 days. If you're serious about joining this program, you want to learn more, feel free to DM Dean or me, whoever you follow, and we will be more than happy to share information, answer any questions, do Zoom call if need to answer any questions, to show you the program and what you're going to get out of it. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Right now, the market in IT is super hot. Super, super hot. IT people can get picked up like this. You can get hired like this. I believe everyone can get hired like this, but there's just a lot more jobs being posted in the IT field because of this pandemic. So you're serious, you want to get hired in 30 days? All those people are struggling even in interviews. We do mock interviews, 3-4 sessions. We have a strategy on how to close the interviews. The reason a lot of people struggle in interviews is because they're not closing. They don't have a game plan or strategy on closing. Getting the interview is easy. It's the closing that's hard. A lot of people struggle in both areas, or people think they got the interview, home run. I'm free now, right? No, guys, the game is over when you have a job offer in hand. Until then, you should be 10 steps ahead of the game, planning every second, every move, every interview you should be planning on closing. If you land interviews, then then the game plan should be, well, how do I close this interview? So I move up to the next round to the point where I get the offer in hand. The game still doesn't end there because you got to negotiate.
Yeah.
And we teach you how to negotiate and get more money. We're very happy to announce that one of our clients went from 80 to 130K negotiation. That's a big negotiation to do. And we teach you how to do these big negotiations. Now, I'm not saying that everyone can get that big negotiation because some companies, really are already paying you great money, but there's always room to negotiate, and there's a strategy behind how to get more money from companies. So entire program is also stemming to how to position yourself to get more money in your career. So we show you it does start all the way from your resume, how you interact, how your LinkedIn profile looks like. All this presentation should be aligned to getting that. If you want to land a six-figure job, every single thing has to be aligned. Your resume has to speak to that six-figure, guys. The walk and talk, right? You got to look like that $1 million that you want. If you don't look the part, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, I think it was somebody on my Zoom had this issue where they want 120K, but the offers, 4 companies or 5 companies gave him a job offer of below that. And I go, okay, well, if 4 companies, if one company does a different story, but 4 companies will not pay you 120, then a bell should ring in your head that you didn't present yourself to 120. So they're not seeing you worth 120. Guys, if you want to make 6 figures, 120K, 100K, you have to present yourself to that level. So when the company is willing to make you an offer, it's no brainer. If they don't think you're valued at 100K and they still want to hire you, they're not paying you 100K, they will pay you 80K. Okay, so keep that in mind. On that note, we are going to end this segment. Dean, thank you for joining. I know I kept you a little bit over.
No, it's my pleasure. Always great to be here. And thanks, everyone. Hope everyone benefited from today's information. And if you're IT, feel free to reach out to me, or if you're non-IT, feel free to reach out to Gurpreet or either of us, and for more information about the bootcamp.
Okay, bye for now, guys. Bye.
Bye.